Yes, namaste. So, continuing on with the series on website marketing and search engine optimization for the holistic and wellness and woo-woo worker. Okay, so I thought I would take a step back actually into really important, just talk about sort of give a more, a broader overview of what the search engines are looking for and what helps any website to rank, okay? So I thought this was a good place in the series to do this. So, yeah, I want to go over what are like the major factors. So you have that in mind. I think I had started off just giving tactical things, like great things to do, but I want you to have an overall understanding of what search engines are looking for, and it's the search engine that brings people to you for your business, other than all the other stuff that you're going to do out like in the real world in terms of marketing, okay? So relevancy. Google, I'm just going to use only Google here because they are really the big boy, you know, in the room. They're looking for relevancy. So when somebody searches, what they really want to do is give the most relevant result. So again, let's say you are a massage therapist and you're in Portland, and the person says, you know, massage therapist, and names a neighborhood in Portland. Google is going to scan all of the websites that have any sort of connection with that, and then through a variety of factors decide what is the most relevant to that particular person. So they really want relevancy. Okay, so that's the first thing. There are things now as the search engines get smarter that it's good because they're less easy to game. Meaning, for relevancy, they're going to take things now like the searcher's location, their search history is going to be important. Even the time of day or the year. So there are a lot of different things that you don't have control over in terms of your website that affect relevancy, okay? The quality of your content, that is really the key thing, and that's why in a couple of the videos before I really stress that. And within that, again, that's like a group, an area that has many, many different areas in it, such as writing for readability on the web. There's a certain way to write your blog posts and your pages that make it easy to read on the web versus the way you might have been taught to write, you know, when you were in school. Quality of the content, now length is becoming more and more of a factor, so that, you know, maybe it used to be a 500-word blog post was great, but now maybe it's, you know, 1,500 words or something. Now, I think you can always have variety in length, but if you really want to like have authoritative content, say in a very specific area or, you know, part of your niche, longer content is going to tend to rank better. So quality of your content overall is super, super, super important. User experience. Is your site easy to navigate? Google is able to see that, believe it or not. There are different ways they can pick up on that. So you do want to think, of course, of the person, because the ultimate aim is to get a person to click through to your site. So the user experience. One thing I want to mention right in with that is site speed. And there is a way that you can test your site speed. I have to make a note to myself, but I'll put a link for it below. If you've set up your Google Webmaster account like I suggested, they have a tool in there. I think it's under Google Insights once you're in the Webmaster, and you can check your site speed. And there are other tools too, but I really like to use Google since they're the one, you know, it kind of makes sense just to use their tool. So site speed is important because that's part of the user experience. I go to so many wonderful, like really sweet sites from holistic, you know, holistic community members and anything sweet, holistic, healing. And a lot of times the sites load very, very slowly. So I just really want to mention that to you. It may not seem important to you, like, and I get that, you know, you're like, oh, you're sitting there, it takes maybe 2 or 3 seconds or 4 seconds, but it really correlates with people clicking away. If your site loads slowly, people click away, okay? They're really impatient. They want a massage and your site's not loading and they're like, I'm going to go to the next person. I don't have time, I'm too stressed out. So site speed is important, okay? User experience, it's part of the user experience. Let's go on. Cross-compatibility. Basically, now, and that's why I love SEO, because it's sort of, it can get so geeky because it's always changing, so you always can be studying, but basically your website has to show well in mobile. Okay, the percentage of people using their phone to search is just continuing to skyrocket, and you know that if you think about your own behavior. So most of us, we build the website, right, for looking at it on a laptop. But what you need to do now is really make sure that your website is easy to use, easy to navigate from a little bitty phone or tablet, but really the phone, from a mobile phone. That is really, really key. So you need to check that with your own phone, you know, go through and see. And again, Google has a tool, so I'm definitely going to link to that below. You will thank me. It'll kind of, it grades your website, your desktop website, but it also grades it for mobile. So you might get like 64 out of 100 or like 50 out of 100, which would not be good. But they'll tell you what the problems are. So this tip alone can really, really help you, okay? You know, and I'm laughing about it, but it's one of those things, if you don't know, it could really be hurting you. Your site speed and how it works on a cell phone, okay? So I am going to definitely link below to that, and I'm going to stop there. Those are 2 things you need to go and check. So what you want to look for is whether your theme that you're using, if you're using WordPress or Wix or Weebly or Squarespace, those are the most popular ones. Check how your site looks on mobile, and if you're using WordPress, which is what I'm most familiar with and it's the most popular, what you want to do is just choose a responsive theme. When you purchase your theme, or if you're working with a web designer, the theme has to be responsive, meaning it changes itself depending on what device I'm looking at it from. Okay, so you need a responsive theme. So if you take away nothing, responsive theme, or responsive, the platform that you're in, I'm pretty sure all the Squarespace ones are responsive. Okay, check your site speed is really important, and things like sometimes your buttons are too small and so on. So I'm going to give you the Google tool. Like I said, do use it. You will be really happy you did, and you will probably be surprised at some of the things that come up. With the Google tool, going back to user experience and the site speed, some of the things that can cause a problem are images. I've seen this a lot. A wonderful person that I met who's a yoga teacher in New York, beautiful image of herself on the home page. Oh my God, it was so slow to load. Like, just picture like on the desktop. So on mobile, it's going to be worse. This image, I'm watching it. It's like the early days of the internet, right? Like you can see, you know, an inch of the image, and it's slowly like, I'm like, oh my God, slow, like this slow, like, oh my God. And then it stopped. I'm like, oh my God, you know, half of the image of her. And then that's really, really bad, you guys. So it can be a beautiful image. And, you know, a lot of us in the holistic field and spiritual field, images are so important, but they need to load fast. Okay, so super important. This will help you take this stuff into account and take action. I want to say the minimum I would recommend if you're really trying to improve your website is 2 to 4 hours a week. Just break it down, you know, maybe half hour, 45 minutes one day, 2 hours another day. But I don't think it would take you more than 4 hours a week. And once you get going, it might take much less because you may just be writing your content. You know, once you have your SEO set up, well, You may just be spending some time adding new content. All right, hope this was helpful. If you have general questions, do leave them below. I will answer them. If you would like to work with me and just get mentored on improving your website, click the link that I'll also put below. All right, be well. Namaste.